Hi, this is the Business Guy. I often get the question, should I put my rental property into an LLC? And the answer is yes, but I'm also going to tell you an instance where you shouldn't put your rental property into an LLC. Because you see, a property in your name equals risk. And you say, okay, what kind of risk are you talking about? So how could you get sued? Well, you can get sued if you get into a car wreck and you're sued for more than your insurance. For example, I was hit by a car when I was riding my bike, broke my neck. Now, the people had $50,000 of liability insurance, but my medical bills alone were over $85,000, and my rehab costs and the effects will last a lifetime. I mean, I'm not the lawsuit happy type, but this has caused a lifetime of pain in the neck. I can't turn all the way this way. Though I'm not the type that likes to sue people, I'm the type that likes to protect people. In this case, if these guys had a lot of assets, well, they could have been out millions and millions of dollars. And that's coming from somebody who doesn't even like to sue people. So automobile liability is one way you can get sued. Say you pay rent on a business and you can't afford to pay the rent anymore. The landlord could sue you for your remaining lease payment. Say you have another 5 years on your lease. The landlord could go after you for the rest of that money and take everything that isn't tied down. Somebody slips and falls on your home or your rental property and sue you for way more than your insurance coverage. In fact, a friend of mine had a rental property and his tenant's dog bit somebody who was passing by. And he personally got sued because he had that property in his own name. Yeah, a tenant's pet bit somebody and the homeowner got sued because of the tenant's dog. So that kind of crazy liability that you may not even ponder could get you into a lawsuit that could take everything you have. So that's the reason why you want to take every precaution you can to get assets out of your own name. So for asset protection purposes, yes, you should put rental property into an LLC. Now, here are the benefits of putting rental property into an LLC. Number one, lawsuit protection when somebody sues you on the property. Say somebody slips and falls, a dog bite like we just talked about. I had a tenant who put their couch up to a window and the child jumped up on the couch and fell out the second-story window. Fortunately, there wasn't serious injury, but things like that can happen that you might not even think about, leaving you vulnerable. Number three, the management structure of an LLC. So you can control the company as the manager regardless of the percentage that you own. You can own 100% of it or you can own 0% of it, but as the manager, you can control it as long as the operating agreement allows you to do so. So not only flexible management, but also number four, flexible membership. So you can take on a partner, let's say a friend, as long as you don't violate the securities laws. So you can't advertise for somebody to invest in your LLC without securities filings, but you can bring on a friend and have them invest with you. Number five, pass-through taxation. So the income and deductions flow through the LLC to you as the owner. Number six, heightened credibility. You have greater credibility if they're writing checks to your LLC instead of you personally. Number seven, limited compliance requirements. With corporations, you have shareholders and directors, and you have to have shareholders meetings and directors meetings. With LLCs, those are not needed. Number eight, flexibility of ownership. So members can be individuals, partners, trusts, corporations, and the people trusted in companies can be either U.S. or foreign. But with an S corporation, there is a limit to the number of owners, and all must be U.S. people. LLCs can have an unlimited number of members, but with S corporations, they ban foreign owners altogether. So let's say this is your personal residence here, and we put this into a land trust for privacy of ownership. So that's on your home. So what we do is we put every single property into a land trust, and if it's a rental property, we make the beneficiary of the land trust an LLC. And we do that because you can put properties into a land trust without invoking the due on sale clause, and in many instances, lenders may give you a hard time putting property into an LLC, but if you put it into a land trust, they can't give you any argument. And then you simply have a separate piece of paper called an assignment of beneficial interest, and you assign the beneficial interest in the land trust to your LLC. So every property has a land trust plus LLC. I'll just put LLC for short. So every property is in an LLC with a land trust as the owner and an LLC as a beneficiary of that land trust. And then what we do here is we set up a Wyoming LLC, and we make this Wyoming LLC the sole member of all of the other LLCs. So your personal residence is in a land trust, not an LLC for tax purposes, because your personal residence is in a separate tax category. But each of these LLCs are in turn owned by one Wyoming LLC. So what's the reason for that? Well, it makes it simple for you because all of the rent checks can go to this one LLC. It makes your accounting simple. Number two, a Wyoming LLC has single member charging order protection. So if you're the only owner, you can have charging order protection. And because of the case law, it might be a wise idea to have an additional member on this LLC. and that can be you and another company as well. So you might have better asset protection if you have a second member in this LLC. And another reason for using the LLC is it improves your ability to borrow. So when they do underwriting, it makes it easier to borrow money if all of your income is coming from this one LLC, because the underwriting process, let's see, if you made $100,000 in rent and you and your spouse own the LLC, you and your spouse will get a K1, and you can get more favorable terms by showing K1 income than if you have this property in your own name. So to explain that another way, even though you do have single member charging order protection with a Wyoming LLC, some states will apply the laws of their own state instead of the laws of Wyoming. So that's why having an additional member with this Wyoming LLC gives you privacy. It can improve your ability to borrow money, make your life a lot simpler when it's time to collect those rent checks. Now here's when you should not put your rental property into an LLC, and that's if you want to get a conventional mortgage, a conventional refinance. For example, when you're about to refinance them, you can simply transfer this property from the land trust to your own name and get it refinanced, but you wouldn't want to put it directly into an LLC because they want it seasoned in your own name for at least 6 months before you refinance. Putting it into a land trust with you as the beneficiary, we've never seen that being a problem, but if it's directly in the LLC, we have seen that as a problem, and many lenders will want you to season the property in your own name or in the land trust for that matter. So it's either in your name or in the land trust, but it'll be pulled out of the land trust at refi time. So either in the land trust or in your name for 6 months. Land trust is better because you have better privacy of ownership. So when Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac buy these mortgages from the bank, they want at least 6 months seasoning. So in other words, the lenders will see the seasoning time, whether it's in a land trust or whether it's in your own personal name, as the same, but you will need to pull it out of the land trust, put it into your name, put it back into the land trust after the refinancing is done. Or if you want to, you can contact my friend Bob Zielinski at US Mortgage. In fact, we did a video with him, and he can finance the property directly into your LLC. You don't even have to take it out at all. So look down in the notes, and if I remember, I'll put his contact info in there. Now, here's one more very, very important thing that we do. We'll set up an LLC over here, and we'll set this up in Wyoming, or even better, the Caribbean island of Nevis, and we record equity stripping liens against all these properties. And that'll be like a home equity line of credit. So there's no money changing hands, but when somebody looks in the public records, it looks like all these properties, including your home, are totally mortgaged to the hilt, and it's not worth suing you. Then if somebody starts sniffing around and asking about these mortgages, we have a third-party lender who will buy all these mortgages from your company and then put the proceeds into an offshore asset protection trust that we set up for you. So there are ways to protect the equity in addition to giving the asset protection and the lawsuit protection with an LLC. Keep in mind, like we said, liability can come from two directions. They can come from inside the LLC, so somebody sues the LLC, and that's where the equity stripping comes into place because it sucks out the equity, it leaves nothing there to take, and people can come at you directly and personally and try to take your property away from you. But if it's in the LLC, you have asset protection, so that whatever's in the LLC itself, and whatever is in the LLC, there's protection from having that taken away from you. So the LLC protects you from inside liability if somebody sues you on the property, and it protects you from outside liability if somebody sues you because you've been in a car wreck, for example. So you have asset protection, lawsuit protection, inside protection, and outside protection. So that's the reason why you want to put your rental property into LLCs. You have liability protection, asset protection, credibility, and all the other reasons we gave. So put your comments or ask your questions down below. And don't be a stranger. You've been watching these videos. Go ahead and subscribe. Heck, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Click the like button to help me out so YouTube promotes this video. And we'll see you next time. I really appreciate you watching. This is The Business Guy.